So this began with the desire to really utilize the sound component of the Immersive Lab and have something that was quite sonic-centric, with then sort of a visual wallpaper, sort of like visual atmosphere. I almost don't know if I should say exactly what it is that you're seeing and what it is that you're hearing, and maybe I should let that become apparent first, and maybe we should talk later.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe people should kind of come in and explore.
So our concept was primarily audio based, and the visuals is like a wallpaper, and we wanted to record what we sounded like when using the internet. So this is all of us like key typing. I'm talking about audio now, but the visuals is just a generic print of someone's activity over the course of a month, I think. When it slowly freezes, you can see. And I just created a kaleidoscope wallpaper.
So our group is Elliot Patros, Filippi Rossi, and myself, Elizabeth Curbelo. And then the title of the piece is Mushrooms Holzburger Paradise.
Say again, mushroom?
Mushroom Holzburger Paradise.
Holzburger paradise. Okay, okay. Come on,
And we want you to explore first, and then you can ask some questions.
Okay.
If you want.
That was developed, I don't know, in what, 3 weeks, right? Like in a very collaborative way between the three of us. I mean, since the beginning, I think we had this idea of working with layers, and there are many layers, you know, kind of built on top of each other. Thank you. I feel kind of ridiculous, you know, talking to a microphone for singers. Yeah, so there's this thing of layers and mystery and like multiple interactions going on at the same time. I think that's basically what it is.
Yeah, we had that idea of when you get in, you enter in a different space. So there is this static environment music, and that's one layer. And then there is a different layer of sounds that are like the birds or frogs, insects. So what you saw is the first stage, is the, how we call it, the low energy part of the piece.
So this is our collaborative piece, and we each sort of took a slice of this and tackled it. Mine being the component of video, Fernanda's being the component of video, and Juan handled the interactivity and the touch response. And we were very interested in the idea of digital bodies and the idea of mediation in between ourselves through the use of technology, that and the idea of how intimacy changes with that barrier of mediation, and also about breaking down the barriers that we have around ourselves and other people, like touch barriers. You know, that's like there's always this sort of a barrier of politeness to not touch others. And so thinking about those things, and when there's that presence of mediation and technology in the screen, and particularly in this sort of a setting when you're being invited to touch, and sort of thinking about that interaction and how we engage with these digital bodies.
So my main motivation for this is that I'm really into sequencers right now, and how to make sequencers make interesting music, because a lot of people say you just loop on them or it's boring. And so what I did with this was I actually have 4 sequencers going on at once. So there's one going along, it's a 16-step sequencer, one going along the top third, one going along the middle third, and one going along the bottom third. And then there's another one that just sounds, it's like a sample pad thing when the boxes show. It just chooses a random one. But when you touch like here, it'll play like the 7th sample of the first sequencer, and it'll go around, like actually finish the sequence until you touch somewhere else. Actually, if you touch here and then somebody else touches here, they steal control from you, so it'll start from there. And so like, the main point was just to use a lot of like meme samples that like young producers are using these days, and just show that like that's music too, and it can make interesting sound.
It's all falling into like the most prominent. But essentially what it starts off as is a score, and we use the score that we originally did, which was a Mozart sonata in C major, and then each object represents a note of the first exposition of the piece, and then as you touch it, this is just so mesmerizing, as you touch it, different objects fly through the space to where your hand is and move the objects. And whenever things collide, then those are the notes you're hearing.